Hello, friends. Good evening. My today's topic is based on a very interesting book, which is written by an Indian author. The author is Mr. Chandramouli Venkatesh, and let me tell you that this is the book I personally like a lot because this is the book which I have read twice, and the kind of transformation it has brought in me. I would like to share with you, and I would love to discuss all those points with you, which can actually give you great insight about many things which you might be aware of, but you have not put it in practice. So, let us understand and see the key points which I will be sharing with you, along with the explanation as well as the example for each and every key point. So, be with me for maybe 20-25 minutes, but I'm very sure the complete book of 400 pages. I will tell you the complete gist and summary of absolute summary of this complete book within 20-25 minutes. So this is an opportunity for you to encash, because you need not to invest maybe 7 days or 30 days to go through this particular book, because I have actually transformed the complete gist of this book into 20-25 minutes of my presentation. So let me without any further ado, let me directly jump to the objective of this particular book. The objective of this book, called Catalyst, is to ultimately strategize you and transform you as a high performance individual, both in your personal as well as professional life. Let me tell you the overview of the Catalyst book. Actually, this book explores into the strategies and principles that drive high performance in any individuals or the organization. Let me tell you, the author specifically provided actionable insights which are based on absolute research and real world examples. For example, this book discusses how top athletes and business leaders or individuals who have actually achieved significant objective while changing their habits and mindset, which they earlier had before reading this particular book. So let me tell you, the first key point which this author is focusing on is the importance of mindset. The author says that the role of mindset in performance is absolutely contribuable. It is absolutely significant. The explanation what he gives to this is, he said that mindset is absolutely a crucial factor in determining your success. He says that a growth mindset, as opposed to a fixed mindset, allows individual to welcome changes and learn from your failure. Let me quote the example which he has specified in his book. Is, he said that the book cites example of a successful people, like you must have heard about Michael Jordan, who viewed failure as an opportunity to improve himself. He actually got significant improvement by pondering on the failures what he had. Then the next point what author is talking about is setting clear goals. He said that the power of goal setting is absolutely crucial, because until unless you set the clear goals in your objective, which are absolutely achievable and provide directional motive to you. Now he said that your goal ought to be very specific. It has to be measurable, it has to be achievable, it has to be relevant and time bound, which is a very common synonym called smart. So my dear friends, he has also re-emphasized the fact that with a journey without the board, you're sitting into a bus without the board. Can you board that particular bus? Nobody would like to board, because there's no board on that particular bus. Where the bus is going, nobody knows. So my dear friends, similarly, without any objective in your life, without any goal in your life, you really don't know where you are heading. So making goal which are very specific, you can further transform this goal into short, medium, and long term. And it has to be very specific, and it has to have a measurable quantum in it. At the same time, it has to be achievable, relevant, and the most important is time bound. For example, let me tell you, if you have formulated a short term goal, it should not be restricted to 5 years or 10 years. Then it is out of the time. So you will have to have all these five parameters to make your goal highly smart. What is that? Is first is specific, then it has to be measurable, then achievable, relevant, and time bound. Let me quote the example which author has shared. Author shared the story of a sales team. He said that there is a significant improvement in the performance by 30% in most of the people, most of the companies, where they set a very specified goal, which has a quantification in terms of specificity, measurability, achievability, realistic. and time bound. He said that the possibility for you to actually reduce your time by 30% is very high when you actually specify your goal and put it with certain guidelines. That is what he has said. Now let me talk to you about the next key point, what the author is talking about. He said that building effective habits. Now, how do you quantify this building effective habit? He said that forming the habits and with the consistency is so very important for you to have a building block for high performance. He said, what are habits? He said the habits are the basic building block for you to perform very high and you to project yourself as a great successful person. So what he said, that you need to establish your positive habits and maintain consistency, which leads to sustained success in your life. He has specified the example with this. He said that the book described the routine of a successful entrepreneur who actually starts every day with a morning ritual that includes exercise, planning, and learning. My dear friend, in my earlier videos also, I have specified that it is not only your goal or it is not only your ambition which you have to focus. You cannot do all those things at the cost of your social environment, at the cost of your personal obligation, or at the cost of your health. So, my dear friend, what he is saying is you should focus on your health first, then your family, and then you focus on the other parameters. And that is how you should be, you know, prioritizing your things. The next important thing, what he is talking about, is the time management. He said that before you prioritize or before you manage your time well, you cannot expect yourself to be a great leader or a great achiever in your life. What explanation he has given? He said that efficient time management actually involves prioritizing the task and eliminating distraction in your life. He said that tools like there's a tool which is called as Eisenhower matrix, which I have explained in my earlier video. But this in this video also, I'll try to give some insight about that particular tool. This Eisenhower matrix is basically a matrix which wherein on y-axis there is urgency, on x-axis there is importance. So when you have urgency on y-axis and importance on x-axis, what you have to do, you have to plot the four quadrants. So when you plot the four quadrants, you will get in this quadrant, you will get urgent and important, whereas here you will get very urgent but not important. Here you will get not urgent but important. Here you will get not urgent but very important. So that is this is the part which you have to take at the least, and this is the part which you have to take at the first. What do you mean by first or least? First job first, which means what he is saying is you must have a pocket diary in your with you always. When you start your day, you must write down all your tasks, which or the household chores or whatever it is. You must write down everything into the diary and transform and take the help of this Eisenhower matrix and transform all this work into put all this work into four quadrants. And the most important thing what you have to pick in this Eisenhower matrix at the very first go is the urgency and the important work. All those work you have to put as the most important thing, because they are not only most important but they are very urgent as well when it comes to implementing those taking those projects at the high priority. He gave the example. He said that there's a case study of a project manager who actually doubled the productivity by implementing time-bound techniques, as discussed, by me just now. So next point, what he talked about is he said that continuous learning and adaptation is something which is extremely important from the perspective of lifelong building of your own personality. What he is quoting is that age, profession, past history, past background has got nothing when it comes to learning. You can always learn. A medical person can always learn the financial part of it. Financial person can always learn the HR part of it. So learning is an ongoing process. What he is saying is that learning and adapting to the changing environment. I gave you my example in my earlier videos also. I have actually transformed. I've actually jumped from medicine to finance to then AI, artificial intelligence, and then to different things where I feel that I need to learn, because there's a lot of demand for such kind of people where you need to have a multifaceted personality, where you can actually sharpen your skill or actually synergize your creativity or synergize your main expertise with all these complementing learning parameters. Like for example, I'm able to talk to you in such a manner that I'm able to make presentations, I'm able to make financial presentations, I'm able to make medicinal presentation. How I'm able to do? Because I'm I personally feel that learning is a lifelong process, and you should not stop learning ever in your life. What is the explanation the author has given? He has given that continuous learning and adaptation are very crucial in a rapidly changing world, specifically in this 21st century. He said that staying updated with industry trend, like whichever industry you are in automobile industry, FMCG industry, pharmaceutical industry, medicinal industry, hospitality industry, you are in any industry, acquiring new skill will keep you as in the organization as one of the dominant person. So specifically, he quoted the example of the highlights of a tech company that thrives by encouraging its employees to engage in regular training and development program. So you might have seen all those MNCs and the big companies, even the moderate side companies, they are focusing more and more on the training and development of their team, or training and development of their employees. Why they are doing so? Because they know that until unless they go for this training and development as the key crucial factor for their employees, they will be actually lacking behind. Then they talked about, the author talked about leveraging the technology. What he said that in whichever industry you are, to enhance your productivity, you will have to leverage the technological aspect. Until unless you actually put this additional parameter of leveraging technology in any industry you are in, it is not possible for you to grow the way industry or the way this current era is heading. So the explanation what he gave is that he said that technology can be a significant enabler for you to perform very high in your career. He said that there are multiple tools to build your communication, multiple tools to build your collaboration, and multiple ways to automate your and streamline your processes and improve your efficiency. The only thing which is required is how efficiently and how dedicatedly you invest your time, and how serious you are in terms of learning those aspects. He specified and discussed a startup that scaled quickly by leveraging project management software and cloud computing into their business. The business was a very small, startup in company, which actually transformed into mid-size and then to the moderate and then to a very big size company, only because of this leveraging on the technological aspect. Then he spoke about building strong relationship. He said that until unless you build a very strong network of relationship with the people or the customers or the colleagues you have in your business, in fact not in business but also in your personal life, what he is saying that building and maintaining strong personal and professional relationship will open the doors of opportunity, the newer opportunities and resources for you, because networking is something which will help you approach with the mindset of giving value to wherever you are associated with. Now, the example he has quoted is, he said that a real life example of a marketing professional who actually advanced her career through strategic networking and mentorship when she was provided with it. Then the next point, what he spoke about, the effective communication. My dear friends, before I get into effective communication, I'm guaranteeing you, if you continue to invest time with me for maybe 15, 20 minutes more, I'll not only give you the complete gist and summary of this, whatever I'm sharing with you, but you will actually see a lot of differential when it comes to your understanding about the subject. Catalyst book is not so very, comprehensive. It is really very detailed and very comprehensive book if you actually invest your time. But with this presentation of mine, you can actually save a lot of time of yours, and you can actually know the complete gist and summary of the whole book within 20-25 minutes. Now let me jump to the slide number 10. He's talking about effective communication. He said that communication skills and their impact is so very important for any person to grow, because he says that clear and effective communication is absolutely essential for not only teamwork but for you to emerge as a great leader. What he is saying is that active listening, empathy, clarity, and key components of an effective communication. If you really don't have clarity in terms of listening, clarity in terms of your communication, then probably your communication is not going to be even acceptable by anyone. What example he has quoted is, he said that the book shares the story of a CEO actually who transformed his company's culture by improving internal communication practice. So what he is saying is that if you actually build a relationship and communication with the internal employees, probability of the organization to grow and probability for you to grow as an individual is going to be synergize, and it is going to multiply. Then he focused on the next very important factor, that is your emotional intelligence. He said that the role of emotional intelligence is very, very important, because emotional intelligence involves, you know, understanding and managing one's own emotions and those of others. Because until unless you have a strong emotional intelligence, you might not be able to understand the psychology of your customer or the individual you are interacting with. At the same time, it will be very difficult for you to make others understand about yourself. So high EQ is actually linked to better leadership and interpersonal relationship. The example what author quoted is that he discusses a manager who improved team performance by developing his emotional intelligence skill. Now, the next very important point what he spoke about is the resilience and the grit. What he said that there is importance of resilience and perseverance. When it comes to resilience, it is basically so very crucial for overcoming challenges and setback, because developing these traits will help you stay focused and motivated in whatever you are doing and whatever business you are in. He specified and included the case study of an athlete who overcame multiple injuries to achieve Olympic success. He gave the example. I'm not quoting those examples because he has given a lot of examples in this book, which is not possible for me to quote here, because that will take a lot of time of mine. So what I have concluded is I have taken out only the key point and the explanation of the key point, supported with the summary of the example, not the specified example. So the next example, what next point, key point he said is that innovation and creativity is something which is actually going to foster your productivity. So what is the explanation? What he gave is, he said, when you encourage innovation and creativity within you, that will lead to unique solutions and competitive advantage for you to emerge as a great leader. He said that creating a culture that supports risk taking and experimentation is very crucial for you to really grow in your career. So the example what he gave was again a tech company that actually revolutionized the industry by fostering a culture of innovation, which is being highlighted through the technological edges what they had actually projected. So now the next point that what he spoke about is the leadership and influence. He said that effective leadership strategy is something which will inspire and influence other. Specifically, the key leadership traits include vision, empathy, and decisiveness. Because he said that until unless you don't have a vision, empathy, and decisiveness, you probably are not at all a leader. For you to be a very strong leader, you should have a very good, decisive capabilities along with empathy and a very strong vision, which includes short-term, medium term, and a long-term vision. What example he personified was of a book which says that he said that the profiles of a successful leader who transformed his organization through his visionary leadership and effective team building. So, what is so very important for a leader to have? That is the visionary leadership and effective team building, because it is not I, it is always we, which is quite bigger than any single individual. That is what he spoke about. And the point number 15, what he said is that building a high performance team. He said that until unless you have a very dynamic and highly performing team with you, probably you may not be able to succeed as an individual, because it is not only you, because your team is going to drive your future, team is going to decide your future. So you will have to build a very good, very high performance team, which will involve selecting the right people, because until unless you select the right people, how can you expect a great team to be built up? So the team building starts right from the selection of the right people. And what he is saying is that you must invest good amount of time in selecting the right people. Don't hire the people in urgency, don't hire the people in a very short span of time without understanding the basic ideology of those individuals. So what he is saying is that you will have to build a performance team which will involve selecting the right people, fostering the collaboration, and aligning the team goal with organization objective. The example what he quoted was a case study of a sports team that actually achieved success through effective teamwork and coaching that is being provided to that particular sports team, and that is how they were able to win you know the emerge as a winner. Then he spoke about the handling stress and pressure. What he said that managing stress for optimal performance is absolutely crucial, because handling stress and pressure effectively is so very crucial for maintaining performance, because techniques such as mindfulness, exercise, and proper rest can help manage stress. What he is saying is that what how do you define mindfulness? Mindfulness is like, if I am speaking to you right now, I should be 100% dedicated while speaking to you. If I'm washing my hand, I should be 100% dedicated while to washing my hand. If I'm, doing my household chores, I should be 100% dedicated to my household chores. Otherwise, what is happening? If I'm washing and I'm thinking somewhere, if I'm talking to you, I'm taking presentation, something at the back of the mind is going on. So that is not what is important. That will lead to you, that will force you to have, stress, because individually you will have to focus on the individual objective. And that is what he said, that by handling the stress and pressure effectively, it is so very crucial for you to maintain the performance. And you must opt the techniques like mindfulness, exercise, and proper rest that will help you manage stress. So the example what he gave was of the book, which says that, that he said that how a high level executive will use mindful techniques to stay calm and focused even under pressure. So the next point what he spoke about was the most important point from the perspective of values in life, from the perspective of being an ethical person in life. What he said, that you must, opt the ethical practices when it uh, comes to comes to you as an individual, or as an entrepreneur, or as an employee. So ethical practice is so very important, because importance of ethics in performance is actually going to contribute a lot for you to grow in your career. What he is saying is that upholding ethical standards is very, very essential for a long term success and reputation for you, and as well as your team, and then eventually as an organization. So ethical practices will build a lot of trust and credibility, not in short term only, but also in the long term. So possibly, you might be struggling to establish your business, but if you're abiding to the ethical practices, this struggle will help you establish a very strong fundamental relationship with the customers. And you will probably see in a very short span of time, if you abide to ethical standards and ethical practice, that you are growing as an organization, growing as an individual. So the example what he gave was a company that maintained its market position by adhering to the ethical practices despite competitive pressure and despite the malpractices which were going on in the industry. What he is talking about as the next point is customer centric approach. He said you should have a focus on your customer needs, because your customer centric approach will involve understanding and prioritizing customer needs and taking their feedback. This will lead to have a better product and services for not for your business, but as for your customer. And who drives your business? It is not your business that drives you, or you drives your business. It is always the customer centric approach which will drive the business. So he gave the example. He shared a story of a retail company that thrived by continuously adopting to customer feedback and preferences. Then he spoke about the financial acumen. My dear friends, financial acumen is the wisdom, or the, literacy of finances, and how do you transform that financial literacy, or acumen, or financial wisdom into your performance. That is very, very important. What he said, that financial literacy is crucial for making informed decision and ensuring the sustainability for any organization. Because, if you are not understanding the financial if you don't have the financial literacy, or you don't focus on the crucial aspects of this financial literacy, you probably may land into, problem, and the sustainability of the business is going to be in question. So understanding the financial statement and metric is the key success point for you to succeed in life. He gave the example of a business that turned around its performance by improving financial management practices, as discussed in that particular book. I'm not taking and expanding that example because it will take a lot of time. Now, he talked about a strategic thinking. What he said, that you should have a very, very strong both short, medium, and long-term strategic planning, because strategic thinking will involve planning for long-term and anticipating future challenges and opportunities. What he said, it includes setting a clear vision and aligning your resources to achieve it. He gave the example of a company that achieved long-term success through strategic planning and involvement. And as a businessman or as an employee, I strongly believe that you must be focusing on your strategic planning and the business acumen, which is actually the need of the hour. Then finally, one of the most important point what he spoke about is the balance between your work and personal life. What he said, that you might be a great successful person in your company, you might be a great successful person as an entrepreneur, or you might be a great successful person as a leader, but if you don't have a strong equity, or a balance with your personal life or a family, probably, you have failed in your life. So what he said is maintaining work-life balance is very, very important because achieving a healthy work-life balance is essential for a very sustained performance as an individual, and it will help both physical and emotional well-being of yours. This involves setting boundaries and prioritizing personal time. Otherwise, what is happening is most of the business leaders or most of the business people or entrepreneurs or even the employees, they are actually into their business, in their profession, their job so much so high that even on Sundays they're working. When they're going for a vacation, they're still working. So you should have a boundary and a prioritizing when it comes to your personal time for yourself as well as your family. If you have that kind of demarcation in your in your nature, probably you will be able to balance your both personal and professional life. So specifically, the author spoke about the experience of a professional who improved his productivity and happiness by establishing a very, very better work-life balance by having a clear-cut demarcation that this is the time when I will give it to company, and when I'm in company, I will not think about my family, and when I'm with the family, I will not think about the company. And that is how you should have a demarcation in order to balance both your personal and professional life. The next point, what he talked about, is the cultural competence. What he said that welcoming the diversity and inclusion is so very important because cultural competence and inclusion are vital for leveraging your diverse perspective as talent. Creating an inclusive environment will enhance your creativity and performance. What example he gave? He gave the example of a multinational company that successfully implemented diversity initiative to improve performance and highlight it. Then he spoke about few, the last but not the most, last but not the least criteria, that is adaptability and flexibility. He said that you should be very, very flexible. He quoted the example of water. He said that if you put water into glass, it will take the shape of a glass. If you put water into bowl, it will take the shape of a ball. If you put the water into bottle, it will take the shape of a bottle. But the same thing, like you have some stones. Can you put those stone in the? You may be able to put some stones in glass, but those stones may not fit into bottle or may not fit into ball. So depending upon the rigidity, they will not change as per the environment. What he's focusing is that when you should adopt and be very, very flexible to change. And what he said, that adaptability and flexibility are one of the most crucial parameter when it comes to the rapidly changing environment. He said that you should be open to change and willing to provide a pivot when it comes to the your continuous improvement in your life. What example he gave? He gave the example of a business which survived an economic downturn by adopting to strategy and operation. Then the last point what he spoke about is the measurement of your performance. Tracking and measuring your performance both in personal and professional life is very, very important because until and unless you track and measure your performance, probably this regular tracking and measurement of the performance against all set goals will help you identify areas of improvement and celebrating successes. Because until unless you are not monitoring and tracking whatever you're doing, is it as per the objective set as per the target set for yourself or not? Are you ahead of that or are you lagging behind? That is what you have to continuously observing, because until and unless you track your performance, you measure your performance, probably you're not aware about where you are standing. So the author actually provided an example of a sales team that used performance metrics to continuously improve their result. Let me tell you the conclusion of this great book, my dear friends, which I will include in 1 minute, which says that summary of all these key points. It says that he spoke about the key strategies which discussed in the book, which included mindset. He said that you should have a very, very positive mindset. He spoke about goal setting. You should have a short, medium, and long-term goal setting. Then he talked about habits. Then he talked about time management. Then he talked about learning. Then he talked about technology. He said that you should be able to adapt to the changing technology. He spoke about relationship with the customer, relationship building with the customer. He spoke about the communication within and outside the organization. He spoke about emotional intelligence. Then he also spoke about resilience, innovation, leadership, teamwork, stress management, ethics, customer focus, financial acumen, strategic thinking, work-life balance, cultural importance, adaptability, and last but not the least is the performance measurement. He gave the example, he gave a very comprehensive overview of how these strategies can be integrated to achieve high performance in both personal and professional life. My dear friend, This is basically a great book which has the power to transform you as a normal individual to a great individual. It has a power to transform you as a normal entrepreneur to a great entrepreneur. It has a power to transform your business from an average business to a great business. So whenever you feel like, you can always, go through this particular book if you wish to. But if you don't have time, you can continue watching my channel, and even you can see this video two times or three times if you feel that you have missed something. So my dear friend, such kind of strategy I am also opting in order to establish my channel. What I need is, I need your help in order to forward such videos which are full of creativity, full of learning, to all those friends where you feel that they will get benefited. So my sincere submission to all of you before I leave this platform, that please like, subscribe, and follow my channel. And wherever you feel that I really deserve to be subscribed, my channel really deserves subscription by you and your friends, please don't hesitate in forwarding my such videos in your WhatsApp group, so that I'll be able to spread this message of creativity, spread this message of learning, and spread the message of, most important message of, being human first to all the community people. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead. Good night. Shabak khair.